Okay, Cody, last week we had great music, and Jim's not here, and then we're back to this. And I mean, this is my favorite, country music. George Strait, there's nothing better. But what happened? What happened to the upbeat music? I'm going to have to be upbeat.
Yes, I mean, I thought you liked the song. So
I do. I love this song. But is it upbeat? Frankie, do you think this is upbeat?
I think it's a pretty good song. But that is.
Do you like country music?
I'm not a big country music fan.
Why don't you get off the show then? This may be your last show. You don't like country music?
I never have.
So in Boston, that's Frank Quinn, everybody. I'm the coach Ron Tunick. Jimmy Piccirillo, if you're listening, Jimmy, I miss you already, but he's in Vegas. I said, can you take me as a grip? I mean, can I just do something? I'm so curious what he does. I know what he does, but I've tried to invite myself. He's on a shoot. He's shooting. He's everything. Kardashian. Name somebody. Clooney. Name somebody he hasn't been involved with.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Unbelievable. All right, back to you. Frank Quinn, the coach. Show's called The Business Life. KHTS award-winning radio station. I say that because we won the best community radio station in all of California. I mean, number one.
2017, right? This year.
I don't know what year. It could have been. Also, we're number one in the Ukraine.
Yep.
Do you know where that is?
I do.
We're building an audience in Iceland. I'm excited about that. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to thank you. Last week, incredible. We raised money for Bridge to Home, and I'm going to go over there and find out more about what they do. Today, we've got a big show, big show. I grew up, as most of you know, as a foster kid, and there's a new organization in town called Fostering Youth Independence. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes, but I'm curious. First of all, before we talk about your hobby, which I want to learn a little bit about, go to hometownstation.com. If you're driving and you're going to be home in a half an hour and you want to listen about fostering young people, go to hometownstation.com. You can listen to our show. Also, download the app. You downloaded our app, didn't you?
I did.
Isn't that a great app?
It's a great app.
Go to the App Store, put in KHTS 1220 AM, download the app, and you can listen to all the shows on KHTS, award-winning KHTS. The concept of climbing a mountain is interesting to me personally because in my book, I wrote a book called The Thinking Room, and I talk about climbing a mountain. Also, we're on Facebook and we're on YouTube. See the cameras there? So in my book, I have a description of you read my book, or you thought you were going to read it?
I read a lot of it.
Sounds like maybe you gave it to to Nada. You gave it to your missus.
But we read it together.
You don't
Coach.
read. That's the problem. Anyway, I have a picture of a mountain, so I'm really interested in your hobby of climbing mountains. You've climbed Mount Whitney.
Yeah, we did Whitney last year in June.
What
which was a mistake,
what is the footage of that?
14,500 feet. It's the tallest mountain in the continental United States.
The concept is just incredible that you would achieve such a goal like that. So is in any way that changed your life? You set the goal of climbing the mountain.
Yes.
How many days did it take?
2 days.
2 days.
Yeah.
Base camp at what level?
Base camp at 12,500. You camp out overnight, and then you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go up to the summit.
That's the problem I got. So with the base, now what's at the base camp? Bar, 7-Eleven, Slurpees. What's at the base camp?
There's no Starbucks. Here's what. There's 2 things. There's 3 things. There's ice, there's rocks, and there's marmots. Have you ever heard of a marmot?
Marmot? You're from Boston. Are you talking about like a mouse?
No, it's bigger than a mouse. It's about a foot and a half long. It looks like a big beaver, and they live in the rocks there, and they watch you.
A marmot.
A marmot.
I just learned something.
I'd never heard of it before. We started training for Whitney.
Incidentally, learning is a big part of our show every week. Today, we're going to learn about fostering youth independence, but also the second half of the show, I'm so curious about borrowing money on your home.
It's actually it's a great subject to talk about because, I mean...
No, seriously, I'm at an age, I don't know if I'll ever do it, but I'm going to ask Charlene of Troop, reverse mortgage. Do you know what a reverse mortgage is?
I do. I'm always skeptical of reverse mortgages.
Well, if you can explain it, why do we need Charlene? We don't need Charlene.
Well, I could explain it, but she's the expert.
We'll put her on.
Okay.
Okay, so before we get into fostering youth independence, 2 days Do you have to wear? Do you carry an oxygen tank?
No. It's not that high, Coach.
Slow down. 14,000 feet's not that high.
Well, it's the highest point in the continental United States, but Everest is 29,000. It's double that. So 29,000 people that summit Everest wear oxygen.
Okay, time out. So I've been to Tahoe many times. We're both golfers,
Okay,
right?
yes.
So if I have to go back in the day when I'd play tournaments at Edgewood in Tahoe, I'd have to go in a day before, sometimes 2 days, to acclimate myself.
That's right.
How did you do that climbing 14,000 feet?
I went the day before by myself, and I pitched a 10 at 6,000 feet to make sure I wasn't going to have a problem with altitude.
You did.
I did.
So that's planning, that's goal setting. That's incredible.
Well, it's just...
You by yourself?
We hiked. There were 9 of us. There were 5 of us that summited. There were 9 of us that went. And I all the research and reading I did about hiking and the people that fail at Whitney was they have altitude problems. And that was the number one thing. They said the people that had the fewest altitude problems went the day before and camped at 6,000 feet.
So you don't have altitude problems?
I didn't that day.
But you do or you don't?
Everybody's different. Doesn't matter how fit you are. It doesn't really matter how much mountaineering you've done. Everybody's different. Each time is different.
So let's get into it. So as you start your climb, you're at, the bottom of the road or something? Where do you start in your climb?
Off of 395, you get into Lone Pine. You take a left. There's a little tiny sign that says Mount Whitney.
Got it.
You go up to 6,000 feet.
Okay.
That's what they call the portal. And at the portal, you can either camp. I mean, people leave at all crazy hours of the night. I mean, it's.
But I'm curious, and we talked about it at lunch today, I'm curious about the mental part, because it seems to me that winning in life is overcoming the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and the physical, right?
Right.
You had to do all 4. I mean, there had to be times where you're going, what the heck am I doing here?
There was a time when I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I thought, I promised my wife that I wouldn't go if it was dangerous.
Yeah.
It got a little dangerous and I still went.
I know we're on the radio, but the pathway was what, 14, 15 inches wide?
Sometimes the path is as wide as a football field, and sometimes it's as wide as a 1.5 feet with the mountain on one side and death on the other.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why I'm intrigued as to how you prepare. How did you prepare emotionally and mentally?
Well,
those issues.
You know from my Facebook posts, I hike a couple times a week. I probably do 15 to 18 miles a week, so I was physically ready. We did Mount Baldy the week before, which is 10,000 feet, which is the tallest mountain in Los Angeles. We did that twice, and then so you're ready, and emotionally you need to get ready, but you can't get emotionally ready until you get up there. But when you get up there, it's a pretty.
Is there a lot of self-talk?
Yes, because you're on you're with other people. But there are times you've got a 40-pound pack on that you're done.
Okay.
And you've got
that
hours.
Probably takes me out of it. A 40-pound pack?
Well, I went too heavy.
What do you have in there? A television? Here's what you got. You got a television, a case of beer. What else?
I didn't have any of that, but what I did have is I had all the essentials. Well, I had more than the essentials. I should have done a better job of going lighter. I could have went 15 pounds lighter. A little less food.
40 pounds of what?
40 pounds of clothes and water. Don't forget, you're bringing your water. Right? Now, you have to bring food.
I got to have a lot of water.
You got to bring food for 3 days. I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
So everybody has a 40-pound pack?
There was one guy that had 28 pounds, and he had the best time.
I bet.
Because it was light.
So candy, what's in the pack? Candy bars, water?
Snacks. I mean, here's what it is. It's clothing and food. That's it. And survival.
Cheetos?
No Cheetos.
Seriously? No Cheetos?
No Cheetos. All good stuff. Coach, it's all about... You said it. You got to be prepared, so you have to have energy. So you bring all the food that gives you the energy to complete.
Hostess donuts, the little white donuts.
You know, it's funny. I saw a picture. There's a little hut on the top of Mount Whitney, and people superimpose all kinds of stuff on it. There's Starbucks stuff on it. You get up there, there is above 10,000 feet. There's nothing but rock.
You got it next week. Can you bring pictures? We'll put pictures on Facebook and we'll promote it. So you're climbing the next 4,000 feet is rock?
Above 10,000 feet on any mountain, anywhere.
Is rock.
Trees, nothing grows above 10,000 feet.
Did anybody slip and hurt themselves?
There was a girl that we saw coming down the day before that had fallen, and she was pretty messed up.
Yeah. So there's a lot of reasons why I'm not going to do this.
Well, we went June 2nd, and there was snow. So where we camped, there's
another
snow
reason
still up there.
I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, it's. It's pretty cool. But hiking is phenomenal.
Okay, we're embarrassing question. Can
Okay.
I ask it?
Sure.
Where's Mount Baldy?
Mount Baldy is, if you go down the 210 out
Okay.
towards Upland, it's
Got
the
it.
biggest mountain range on the left. Everybody sees
That's it.
There's a ski area there. It's a great place. Matter of fact, that is probably the best hike in Los Angeles.
I'm not going to do that either.
I could get you up Mount Baldy tomorrow. In the shape that you're in, I promise you, Coach, you could do it. It might take us a little while.
2 days.
Well, we have some friends that have hiked very slowly with me in the past.
No kidding. Coming up here, we're going to talk about if like me, if you are a foster kid or interested in the process of what is a foster kid. I'll tell you in a minute what a foster kid is, but we're going to hear from a new organization called Fostering Youth Independence. They're over on Tournament Road, and we have a couple of the executives here, and we're going to be talking about this subject, which is near and dear to my heart. You know, Frankie, you grew up with loving parents. I know your story.
I did. I was very, very blessed.
And I did not. My mother was a great lady, and she tried her best. She had no concept. There were many times we never had food in the house, and she didn't know how to cook. Can you imagine? We didn't have food, and she didn't know how to cook. So in the book I wrote, I talked about eating onion sandwiches. I would go buy the Wonder Bread myself. Is Wonder Bread still around, Cody?
It is.
Really? So I kind of grew up with the Wonder Bread. Anyway, yeah. So we'll talk about fostering. So if I'm interested in learning to hike for 3 reasons. One is I want to challenge myself to do something I've never done before, because when you have fear, a lot of us just run away. The fight or flight. So I want to learn how to overcome my fears. I think I can do it by hiking with you.
I think that, at least this is my opinion, I think the most that you'll get out of it is the spiritual. You mentioned a number of things. It's spiritual if you do it often.
I believe that. I love your Facebook posts. I mean, I look at your video. I look at every video, as you know, and sunrises, stuff like that just means a lot to me. I'm a reader, so I can't remember the lady's name. She was like 98 years old. She wrote a book. This is like 20 years ago. And at the end of the book, she said, the key to life was to eat more ice cream and see more sunsets.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And I keep telling my wife that.
Well, we go at 5 a.m., just so you know.
No, I've always been an early morning person. No, that doesn't, yeah.
Yeah, it's
a little
perfect.
chilly.
It's a great time to go.
Yeah, before the sun comes up. 5 in the morning now is pitch dark. You're going now at 5 in the morning?
Yeah, we leave at 5 because the sun comes up right now at 6:30, and it takes us about an hour and 20 minutes to get to the top.
You know what a 1,000 lume flashlight is?
I do.
I have one, so that's perfect.
You might need 2 of those, Coach.
The show's called The Business Life. We just talk about life, and today we're going to be talking about fostering young people. What is fostering? And there's this new organization. Before we do that, let's, Frankie, we do the Millennial Minute.
Yes, we do.
Cody Como, our beautiful producer, is 25 years old. I'm interested in millennials. People, not Frankie and I, people knock millennials. I don't. Because you're the future of our country. You everything about you is the future. So I'm curious what you guys are thinking about. What are you thinking about today?
Today, I guess one thing that kind of threw me off a little bit. Recently, I've been noticing there's a kind of not recently, but for a while, they do these movies that have nothing to do with Christmas, and they put a general Christmas theme, and then market them at Christmas, and they make a ton of money. I don't know, it just feels like kind of the most shameless use of Christmas to just, profit off people. No, don't mind lately, I guess.
Give me an example, like the robot movies?
Actually, I liked it, but no, Daddy's Home too. It's a Christmas movie, so to speak.
Whoa. You're going to knock Daddy's Home too?
This was funny, but like I said, it just feels...
It was a good movie.
Yeah. So they're getting to a point now where
Are you going to knock
Christmas
Bad
in the
Santa
background.
too? Did you see Bad Santa?
I did. I think I saw both of them. It is like the same thing there. That one a little more. That actually had some Christmassy tie to it. It's a movie about mall Santa. But I don't know. That just kind of saw a couple others that kind of.
So you're irritated that they're using Christmas as a vehicle to sell whatever they're doing, right?
Yeah, just to sell movies.
That's
that probably
called
otherwise be forgotten.
entrepreneurism. That's called entrepreneurism. That's the way this country is built.
Cody,
Right.
what's your favorite Christmas movie?
My probably Christmas Vacation as far as Christmas movies. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
You ever see It's a Wonderful Life?
I have actually. Yeah, I'm a big James Stewart fan. So
How about you, Coach?
500 times.
That's the best Christmas movie of all time.
Really, my
I think.
favorite is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Have you seen that?
I've seen it. I love it.
I mean, that to me, you laugh till you cry, and then you cry at the end.
That's right.
I mean, all right, we're going to come back. Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to meet the executives of Fostering Youth Independence. These executives are going to get into what this is all about, and it's a nonprofit. Each year in LA County alone, 1,400 youth out of the foster care system reach adulthood, and without being adopted or reunified with their birth parents. At least I knew my mother. The statistics for these kids are grim. Only 55% will have a high school diploma. I barely got through high school. And only 3% will graduate from college. I did. 36% will experience homelessness. I didn't, thank God, within the first 18 months, Frank.
Wow.
Within 18 months. And 20% will be incarcerated within 2 years. So those are tragic numbers.
Yeah, it sounds like it's stacked against them, right? I mean,
Yeah, so I want to figure out how we can help. We'll be right back. The show is called The Business Life. Frankie Quinn and the coach on the show we call The Business Life on award-winning KHTS Radio.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top-quality musicals and plays. Located in Old Town Newhall, the CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go to canyontheater.org.
Santa Clarita's new Friday night happening place is Vine's Restaurant and Bar at the Hyatt Valencia,
Vine's Restaurant rocks.
featuring their prime rib buffet dinner.
Oh man, awesome buffet.
Prime rib, the best.
Our Friday feast.
Tomato basil soup, homemade.
Shrimp and Caesar salad.
Vine's Restaurant Friday night prime rib buffet, only $29.50.
The ultimate date night.
Make your Friday date night at Vine's Restaurant and keep every day of your week happy at the Vine's Lounge and Patio Happy Hour, 4 to 7 p.m. daily, featuring $5 appetizers and drinks.
If you're in danger of losing your home to foreclosure, you need an expert. Hi, I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty. I've helped hundreds of Santa Clarita residents save their homes completely for free. I've got just over 20 years experience and a loan modification success rate of over 80%. I can negotiate better terms with your bank and I can save your home from foreclosure. And again, we do this completely for free. So if you're in any danger, please call me today at 661-714-1400. That number again is 661-714-1400. I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty, and I'll be happy to help you save your home for free.
Your hometown station.
Wonderful sponsors on our show: Jersey Mike's, Rev Up Auto Sports, Bonefish Grill. It just goes on and on. We picked up a brand new sponsor, CSMC Mortgage, Frank.
Wow.
So, do you have any? I'm going to rep them, I guess. Do you need any mortgages?
I'm thinking about a reverse mortgage, actually, since we've been talking about it. Actually, I don't think I'm old enough for a reverse mortgage.
No, you're so young. It's. I feel like actually I want to burp you most of the time, really. All right, let me introduce Frankie. Fostering Youth Independence. That is the name of the organization. So let me introduce Gina Stevens and Carolyn Olsen.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to KHTS award-winning radio. So how did you guys, how do you come up with the name, Fostering Youth Independence?
Well, we came up with the acronym first, FYI, and then worked backwards. We were trying to come up with something catchy. So
I like it, Fostering Youth
FYI.
Independence. Yeah.
Coach is big into names.
Oh, yeah.
Big into names.
Big into names, yeah. So you come up with the name, Fostering Youth Independence. In a 30, what's your elevator pitch? 30 seconds. What do you guys do?
We equip transition-age foster youth, ages 16 to 24, to complete a post-secondary education and become successful, independent adults.
Wow.
So we really believe that education is the key for these kids to break the cycle that they've come from. And there are many resources available for them. They just need an adult to come alongside them and help them.
And support.
And support, yeah. Somebody to believe in them.
Yes.
That's the thing. You know, if you have somebody that believes in you, like the only person that Frankie has is his beautiful wife, Nada. Other than that, nobody believes in him. But I was a foster kid, and my coaches believed in me, and you create this bond with
Yes.
with an adult, just what you said.
Mhm.
And so tell me how we can help. How can the community help? We have thousands of people listening from Palmdale to the San Fernando Valley. How can we help?
Well, one way that the community has already started to help is by volunteering with our organization. We call our adult volunteers allies. They're like mentors, but we like the word ally because instead of it being somebody who's over you, it's somebody who comes alongside you and supports you and encourages you. So we've already had about 30 volunteers from the community step up.
So
we
Frankie and I became allies. What would we do?
Well, the process is that you complete an application. We have a training session that we do about once a month.
2-hour training session.
Yes. And then we check references, we interview you, we send all of our volunteers to be live scanned, so they're fingerprinted and background checked so that we make sure that they're safe for our kids. And then we
I
pair
passed
them.
an FBI background check. Is that good? I don't know about Frankie. What about you? Do you think you can pass an FBI?
I think I'm good, yeah.
Okay, good. So we're both good. All right.
Uh-huh.
Then what do we do?
And then we pair you with a youth, just based on, we ask questions about your interests and your hobbies, and we do the same with the youth. We have an intake process for them.
Football, New England Patriots. What about you, Frankie?
Hiking, right? They got a.
Oh, you would be a perfect ally.
It's funny. I've seen kids that, and I'm involved in some other groups where kids are kind of at risk, and when you take them outside, it's really, it changes the dynamic. A lot of these kids, that's the last thing on their mind, right? They're trying to survive.
Yes. Yeah. Another thing that we found is that we've done a few events for the kids. We had a back to school event where we had school supplies donated and we had food and games, and then we had a Halloween party. And we find that the kids really just enjoy the sense of community and being able to do things that they haven't done before. For example, at our Halloween party, the kids carved pumpkins, and many of them had never carved a pumpkin before. These kids are 16 to 24 years old, and you think, wow, that's something that you take for granted that kids have been able to do when they're growing up.
Yeah, I get emotional sometimes. I never carved a pumpkin. I didn't have birthday parties. Yeah, it's when you're a foster kid, it's rough. I read those statistics, and man, I got lucky. I really got lucky. So I want to figure out how I can help, and I'll get Frankie involved. You guys need money?
Yes, we do. And today is Giving Tuesday, coincidentally.
Oh!
Yes, it is. So you can go to our website, FYIFosterYouth.org, and click donate. And
What's
make
the
it
site?
Easy.
Oh, in the name, right?
Yes,
The site.
FYIFosterYouth.org.
Well, most of our listeners are driving, actually, fostering, or they're in their cubbies at work. FosteringYouthIndependence.com.
No, it's FYI.
Oh,
Fosteryouth.org.
FYI.
Fosteryouth.org.
That's the site?
Yes.
Maybe Frankie's right on the names. Maybe FYI
Fosteryouth.org.
Fosteryouth.
I wrote it down for you, Coach. I got it.
And that link will also be in the podcast page that are today at Hometown Station.
Oh, good. It will?
Yes.
So, ladies, what is the number one thing that you guys need help with today? I mean, is it money?
Money.
Well, we know that, Coach. But I mean, what else? I mean,
Money, volunteers, getting the word out to the community. We are currently working with 23 youth who are actively participating in our program. They've been referred to us from the Department of Children and Family Services and also from Dora Lozano, who's the foster youth liaison at College of the Canyons.
Okay.
But we know that there's more youth out there. They just haven't found us yet.
And you have allies for those 23 today?
Not yet, but that's why we're asking for more
That's why you're
volunteers.
So
We're close,
let's
though.
you and I go over there maybe next week. But so let me ask you a question. So the youth, the 23 youth, do you check their backgrounds? Is there any vetting that goes on with those youths?
Do you want to speak to that, to the intake process?
Yes, we get a referral, and if it's from DCFS, we already know that they're vetted as far as being involved in the system. And then Stacy and I meet with the youth, and we have kind of a large application. It's about 6 pages, and we find out a bunch of information in regards to the youth, how many schools they've been to. A lot of our kids have been to several elementary schools, high schools. We've had a few kids that haven't been able to finish high school because of being in a bad foster home and decided they needed to go out and make some money and get a job. So there's different scenarios, and we learn a lot in that intake process. It's about an hour and a half time that Stacy and I meet with the kids, interview them, learn what their needs, what their goals are, and we ask them simple questions like, what are your goals? What are your dreams? And their facial expressions from hearing that type of question is almost as if they've never been asked. And so...
well, give me a couple of answers. One of the things I'm concerned about is I never did drugs. That's one of the reasons I kind of made it, was I never didn't drink alcohol, didn't do drugs. I worked, and so I stayed out of trouble. If I was going to foster a kid, I would have a challenge myself if they were doing drugs, because I'm not tolerant.
Really?
Are you tolerant?
It's so funny that you say that. I'm completely the opposite.
Really?
That would be a perfect fit for me.
Really?
Absolutely.
Well, I want to see what Gina says about, you ask them their goals, and then we'll get into this. So
All right.
what do they say?
First of all, let me clarify something. Our organization does not foster youth. We come alongside. So we pair an adult with one of our youth, but they do not live in your home. They are youth that are either in transitional housing, they're still with their foster parents, or they may be working and are renting a room on their own. So our organization does not foster, which is important. So this is a unique opportunity actually to become involved in a foster youth's life without being a foster parent.
Yeah, you guys are just making the connection between somebody
Correct.
who wants to help and somebody who
Correct.
needs help.
Yes.
Correct. Yes, and we're finding that this age in particular, they get there, for some reason it seems like people are more interested in taking in smaller kids, fostering, babies, and maybe perhaps it's because they haven't gotten into the drugs and the alcohol and some of the problems that can exist in the older ages, but they're more interested in them. So as these kids get older, they have less and less adults involved in their lives, and they're getting less help. And so I don't want to say they've been forgotten, but in a way they have been forgotten. And so when we meet with the kids, it's just very clear and obvious that for them, it is refreshing to feel like there are people out there that care.
And they're also shocked to find out that people volunteer.
Yes. Without being paid, because most of the adults in their life so far have been paid adults. And so to hear that somebody is actually choosing to care about them and get involved in their life by choice actually speaks volumes to them.
Show's called The Business of Life. Every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, we talk about things just like this. We talk about life. Frank Quinn and the coach. This is Fostering Youth Independence. The website, let me see if I get this right, Frankie. FLI.
No.
FYI. It's FYI. Oh, now I'm going to mess it up.
FYI, fosteryouth.org.
You got it, Coach. You got it. You got it.
If you want to be an ally, I love that. And so they pair the ally with the foster, male or female. And you, I guess, coach them up, mentor them up. They'd go hiking with you and watch football with me, I guess.
Absolutely.
What would they do? Let's see. What would they do with me? I would...
They'd eat tamales. You'd bring them for tamales. And this is just what I see.
Interesting you say that. I never went to restaurants. I never went to restaurants till... My wife and I talked about this just before Thanksgiving. My first restaurant, I know this sounds weird, might have been when I was 21. Can you believe that?
One of the things that these ladies haven't talked about is that I think, as great as it is to help those youth, the people that are helping benefit maybe even more.
Yes.
Maybe even more.
That's very true.
So
Very
it's one of those things where, if you're listening and you're saying to yourself, Coach, you and I talked about it, that's a great idea. CPR training, that's a great idea. I have this list of great ideas. It's hard to execute. But if I think about it, and I hate to say
That's
it sounds
a cheap
selfish.
plug for the CPR training I'm doing on December
it was a little
6th.
cheap plug.
December 6th. I've got 8 committed. I need 2 more. So if you ladies want to come, have either one of you done CPR training?
No, haven't.
Come on.
I have.
Okay.
But it's been a while.
All right. My office is on Avenue Crocker. Stacy can come too. Charlene can come. Fred, we'll get them to come.
We'll get a whole crew.
Sheep plug. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and we'll finish up, and then we're going to get into something that's interesting, I think, to both of us. That's money.
I'm interested in money, that's for sure.
Yeah, how to get it. We'll be right back. The show's called The Business of Life on award-winning KHTS. You can go to hometownstation.com, or, ladies and gentlemen, download the app. Just go to the App Store and put in KHTS 1220. It's a great app. You can take the station with you anywhere. If you're at a airport like my wife is tonight, she'll, who knows, her plane could get canceled, Cody, right? Be right back.
I've been into cars ever since I was 6 years old. I helped my dad build race cars in our driveway.
Dave Reeves, owner of Reeves Complete Auto Center.
I love cars. I've been in automotive service my whole life. I ran my dad's wrecking yard and rear-end shop, managed several auto repairs until I opened my own auto repair facility.
Reeves, on Ruther in Canyon Country.
I learned customer service and honest communication make the difference.
Reeves, your complete auto service center.
Call Reeves at 252-1400.
When you're looking for a midnight snack, sometimes fast food just doesn't cut it. Formerly Donut Inn, California Bakery and Cafe is now open 24/7, so you'll be able to find fresh donuts, danishes, bagels, all-natural fruit juices, gourmet sandwiches, and much more at any hour. With elaborate cakes for any occasion, including weddings, baptisms, anniversaries, corporate events, or any special event. California Bakery and Cafe in Santa Clarita is open 24 hours to satisfy any craving, anytime. Call us 255-1254.
Winter is coming to Aliento. Join us this Saturday from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Aliento Winter Wonderland. Take pictures with Santa, visit with Elsa the Snow Queen, play in real snow and more. Then tour the model homes in our 4 distinct neighborhoods, including our new 55-plus community. That's this Saturday, December 2nd, 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Terrace at Aliento, just off the 14 at Golden Valley Road in Santa Clarita. See you there. For more information, visit alientoliving.com/winterwonderland.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
I still feel 25.
Wow. What an interesting segment. I got a little emotional there growing up.
I'm sure. CSMC.
Yeah, CSMC Mortgage.
Yep.
Did I say that right?
And then Fred's Century 21 Troop on the real estate side.
You got to talk into the mic.
Yep. We're not on the air, are we?
Yeah, we're on the air. Charlene Gil, we're on the air.
Hey, Charlene.
Hi, how are you?
We're going to talk about money when you're comfortable, not yet. But as soon as you want to talk about money, we'll talk about. Okay. Charlene's. You'll be hearing. What are we going to name this show? Have we come up with a name yet?
Money Minute.
Troop and Money, or something. We'll come up with it.
Yeah.
So, Troop's been a longtime sponsor of mine for over 10 years. I love that organization. Known Fred for years in the local office. I know it's a cheap plug. It sounds like a cheap plug. It is a plug, right?
Sure.
The Troop is one of those real estate companies that's just honorable from the top down. I mean, I know Brian Troop, the owner, and it's just a lot of doing things the right way. And I know the mortgage company works the same way. So back to real quick before we get into money and Charlene. So what would I would take a kid to restaurants because everybody likes to eat. So I would imagine foster kids haven't been exposed to a lot of the restaurants that you and I have been exposed to. Another thing, you and I are golfers.
Yep.
I got so lucky, and I talk about it in my book, which you didn't read, but when I was in my 20s, I joined North Ranch Country Club. I had enough money to join a country club. I always made pretty good money. And that's where my life changed because I'm in my 20s sitting next to guys our age now, listening to them talk about life and business.
Right.
I would overhear these conversations. And I'd go back to my office and say, okay. So I would take them to the club. You take them to your club. I take them to my club.
Yep.
And expose them to another side of life.
I think it'd be as simple, Coach, as sitting down with them and just having a simple conversation about what's going on with them, right? And then that would morph into where they need help. like the lady said, these kids don't.
It takes time. They're not going to open up to you on the
Listen,
first conversation.
I think that's it. What we didn't talk about is how big of a commitment it probably is, because you'd have to earn someone's trust, and you'd have to, make.
How old are
them-
your kids? You have teenagers?
My boys are 14 and 12.
Do they talk? Be honest.
You
How
know-
was your? Here's the conversation when Frankie gets home. How was your day today? What's your son's name?
Robert. Hey, Robert, how was school? Good. Hey, Ryan, how was school? Good. But here's what it is: if I sat down with my kids, you can get a kid to open up. You could just, it's you have to peel back the onion, right? You have to ask them questions. They're not interested in school, right?
Right.
Really. But
No.
if I started talking about basketball and swimming and the other
Yeah.
things that they do,
Yeah.
they'd open up.
You're right. You've got to ask great questions. You really do. You've got to ask. Charlene, do you have?
I do. I have a 12-year-old daughter,
What's her name?
Madison.
Oh, that's right. We talked about it. I got a Madison.
Where did she go to school?
She goes to school out here at Meadows.
Oh, great.
And she's now at Placerita Junior High.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I think kids need structure and love. And if they have that, there's a lot of things that they can achieve. So I think that's with
Well
the foster
said.
kids too.
Yeah. And
You
I think
know?
that's what it is. They just need a little tiny bit of adult direction. And it's
Structure. That they need a path, and I think a loving parent like Charlene you give Madison. I love that name because my granddaughter's Madison. You give Madison a path, right?
I do. She wrote something about me 9 months ago at school. They wrote, someone that's influential in your life. And she wrote about me, and she wrote about how I influence her and the business decisions I've made, and that she wanted to be like me. And I didn't really know that she felt that way until I saw what she wrote. And I thought, I must be doing the right thing. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, is that? I mean, what's better for a parent when your kid says, "I want to be like you"? Holy moly!
Yeah.
I mean, that's applause.
Did you
right
cry?
there.
I did.
So, Charlene Gil, CSMC Mortgage. What is CSMC Mortgage? What is the
We're
initials?
Customer Service Mortgage Corporation. CSMC Mortgage, because it's easier to say.
CS.
MC Mortgage.
Well, okay. Why did you get into this business?
Well, I started off at Countrywide Home Loans back in '95, and I've pretty much been in the mortgage industry my whole life, the last 23 years. My biggest thing was I wanted to help people with their biggest financial commitment, which would be their mortgage. And I'm passionate about it, and I believe in it, and I just really want to help people make a right financial decision. I think I've done that for myself, and I'm in a place where I can probably help other people do the same thing.
So the two big items, buying a car or buying a house and then getting a mortgage, where do you start? I mean, now that I met you, if I ever need a mortgage, I'm going to go through you, but how would people find you? I mean, isn't it always get down to the individual? Yes, the name is CSMC Mortgage, but at the end of the day, it's Charlene Gil, isn't it? Be honest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think when you choose somebody to do business with, you're choosing the individual, the knowledge they have, the way that they conduct their business, referrals, references that they may have. You want to trust in them because, what they say they're going to do is what your end result ultimately wants to be.
And the building, your beautiful office, you're over on Valencia Boulevard, 23822. If somebody wants to go and meet Charlene. You're second floor?
Yep, we're on the second floor.
23822 Valencia Boulevard. You're right next door to the City Hall.
Absolutely. Right next door to City Hall, right next door to the AAA office, and right across the street from the library.
Now, I don't know anything about real estate or mortgages, so I hope my questions aren't too elementary. But the only question I would ask is, are real estate rates going up? Are loan rates going up or down?
We always see a little fluctuation when it comes towards the end of the year. We see a little bit of the market slow down, so you see a little bit change in rate. But for the most part, we're at all-time lows. So, getting a 30-year fixed mortgage in the high 3s, low 4s, that's a great interest rate. Years and years ago, you're looking at 15, 20% interest rates. I mean, that's what my parents had. That's what a lot of other people had when they bought their first home. So, There's a lot of steps you could take. They're easy steps. You just need to be coached through the process, and it's obtainable for everybody.
So how has the mortgage industry changed? I remember when I was doing like the refi at my house in Stevenson Ranch, I used to have to just drive through the parking lot at Wells Fargo, high five my person, and then my mortgage payment went down $200. Is it still that easy?
It is not that easy anymore. But yes, we did have those days. We're probably talking 10, 12 years ago, where you could just do an easy stated loan, not much documentation needed. Now we need more documentation, documented assets.
Right.
But you want to be thorough. You want to make sure you're getting into something you can afford and manage, and that's all a part of the process.
I think that's why somebody like you is going to be so valuable, because before it didn't really matter how good the person was, because the rates were about the same and they were low, and they would approve anybody.
But I think you can get a mortgage. I think you can obtain an interest rate, but you also need to know what mortgage is suitable for you and your family. So there's a lot of questions I ask, because there's a lot of different loan scenarios, and particular scenarios might not be the best for you. It might not be the best for Coach. It might be different depending on who I'm talking to.
Sure.
So.
Coach, I've never had a loan person, after I did a deal, call me back a year, 2, 3 later and ask me, how's it going?
I think it's really important, because communication is the understanding I have from clients that is lacking in their transactions. And if they can have service, if they can have the customer contact, that's what they're looking for.
Sure.
We're in a digital age where everything's text and email. They like to have phone call conversations. They like to, hey, where are we at on our loan? Oh, this is our status and this is where we're at. It's just a good touch.
Sure. It's interesting you say that. My generation wants to talk to somebody. Probably Cody's generation wants the text or the email. Yeah, he's saying yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
My generation, anything that you could do through without talking to a person in real life, I guess.
And I'd like to think I'm somewhere in between.
Yeah.
And you have...
Yeah, because you're somewhere in between our ages, too.
Yeah.
Question, Charlene Gil. Charlene runs CSMC Mortgage over on Valencia Boulevard, 23822, right next to the City Hall building. So here's my question. So this is a transient community in some ways. We have people in the entertainment industry moving in, moving out, executives moving in. So is there such thing as a 5-year loan where I know, I was telling Frankie, I used to have offices in Cleveland and St. Louis, and we knew we were only going to be there 3 or 4 years. So is there such thing as a 5-year loan?
Absolutely. Yep. 3, 5, 7 year.
3?
Yeah.
It's a 3-year arm, right?
It's a 3-year arm.
Oh,
3-year arm, 5-year arm,
man.
7-year arm, 10-year fixed, 15-year fixed. It's all suitable to your needs. If someone's looking to stay in a home long term, lower payment, 30-year fixed. If someone's, up in age and they want to pay off their house, I recommend 15-year fixed. Get your mortgage pay off and be debt free.
So is the 5-year, is it a 30-year amortization? With a 5-year due date?
So you're fixed for 5 years,
Fixed
and the amortization's over 30.
And is that a lower rate?
Yes, you're going to have a little bit
Why
lower
would you
rate.
do that?
Well, because you have a little bit less security. Because after
Rates
the
might go up.
5-year, right? After
Right.
the 5-year term, you're into an adjustable. It has a cap on there, but you're I don't know. I tend to be on the more conservative side personally, so I prefer a longer term fixed. But if you're
but
looking
I'm moving
for
to Alabama, Frankie.
yeah,
If I moved to Alabama, or I'd go back to Boston, where you're from.
then you take
They're
that.
gonna have shouters.
Yeah, then it wouldn't matter because you wouldn't go into that adjustable period.
Right.
You'd take advantage of the lower rate for a few years, and then you'd be ready to go on.
I want to be a loan agent. It just seems exciting to me.
It's stressful too, though.
Is it?
Oh yes.
Seems like it'd be fun.
Yeah,
It
I
is
think it's
fun,
gonna be
and you know what?
stressful.
It is fun. I enjoy that job. It is stressful, but the reward in the end is always happy clients and repeat clients, and that's the joy of it.
No, I don't want to be a downer. How did you get through the recession?
What recession? Was there a recession?
Couple of few years back.
There was a time where I remember we weren't doing any transactions for about a 2-3 month period. And that was because I think the industry was shocked. But with each recession, you have a change. So when interest rates go up, you don't have your fixed rate loans. You don't have your 30, your 15, your 10 that are your most aggressive. You have the ARM products that are more aggressive. And it's just, you you bend with the industry, you bend with the times. So there's always, something in a product for depending on where you're at.
And there's all kinds of reasons to, it seems to me, people get divorced, somebody stays in the house. Do both people leave the house?
It depends how their divorce decree's written out. Maybe the wife keeps the property with the children.
In Frankie's case, Nada.
I was going to say, was that a mortgage question?
Well, no, I was just thinking, I'm always a marketing guy.
Okay.
I'm thinking, never mind. It was a stupid question.
No,
Yeah.
but it's true. You'll have a divorced couple, and sometimes they're ordered to sell the property and split proceeds, or one party will take over the mortgage and the house, and the other will give up their equity.
Why do you have to point out my stupid question?
I didn't think it was a stupid question.
No, it was stupid because it had. Where was I going with it?
That's what I thought.
Where am I going with it? I was thinking of marketing. I'm thinking of becoming a loan agent. I work for.
You want to come work over with me?
I would love to work with you.
You might be too busy helping those foster kids, though. Be careful.
Isn't
you have a lot
that
going on.
something?
That
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that was beautiful. Those ladies coming in here.
What
and
would
talking
you?
about that.
So would you? What would you take? Where would you take a foster kid, Charlene Gil?
I guess things that we take for.
No,
for
where would you
gran-
take them? I'm taking them to restaurants.
Yeah, but the things we take for granted are things they've never done. So theme parks or restaurants
got
or
you,
a
got you.
vacation or just little things like that. I mean, maybe they've never had that.
Or how about having 3 of those kids looking in the window? They've probably never seen a radio station.
Put them on the radio.
Yeah.
But it's interesting what Charlene said. Take him on a vacation. That is a very cool idea.
They probably never have been on one.
Yeah, I never was. Yeah, interesting. That's
Wow.
yeah, great. You're taking them climbing. I'm taking them to restaurants. Charlene's taking them on vacation. Where do you want to go on vacation?
Hey, I'm anywhere. Beach.
Where would be your favorite vacation spot?
Hawaii.
Maui.
I love it there.
Oh, me too. You, Frankie?
I
have you ever been to Hawaii?
I have. But I actually have always wanted to go to Indonesia, except I wouldn't want to go now. There's a volcano erupting in Indonesia as we speak.
Really?
Yep.
Why? Maui's just around the corner, baby. 5 hours, boom, we're there. Why Indonesia? The food?
No, I think I've seen.
You want to go by yourself? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'd like to take my wife, and it'd be great.
Cody, get Nate on the phone. Something's going on here. He wants to go to.
He's got something going on in
He wants to
Indonesia.
go to India. I want to know why he wants to go to Indonesia. What about you, Cody? Where do you want to go on vacation? Anywhere in the world. Anywhere.
That's a toughie. Anywhere in the world, honestly, I'd probably say Israel. I want to go to Jerusalem. So
Okay, that's a very popular place. One of the places, my son went to Fiji, so he said, "Dad, that was, you can't even explain how incredibly beautiful."
I think you asked the question. I know that a lot of people like to go in the same spot. Like I go to the Martha's Vineyard every year. But when you're asking about where do you want to go, wouldn't you want to go to somewhere you've never been?
Yeah.
Absolutely. My uncle traveled the world, and he said Greece was one of the beautiful places he's ever been.
I've heard that.
So I put that on my list, too.
On your bucket list?
Yeah.
The show's called The Business of Life. Frank Quinn and the coach here every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Soon, we're going to have a real estate show. We don't have a name for it, Charlene.
I don't know. We got to get
You
creative.
and I and Fred have to get creative. SCV real estate, blah. We want something cool, right?
Got to think of some catchy.
Something catchy. Cody, great job today.
Well, thank you, Coach. You as well.
I loved your Millennial Minute. Well,
thank you.
But this is the United States of America, so everything is entrepreneurial.
No, I get that. I just wish, I don't know, I wish more people kind of took time to appreciate the things about Christmas that are special we get once a year, instead of just throwing decorations in the background and saying it's a Christmas movie. I guess that's more my point.
Are you putting up lights, Frankie?
I put them up on Saturday. When it was 95.
I've always done lights, but this year I'm doing we got to go. The what do you call it? The lights. The stick them in the ground. The lights flash.
projection. The
I got
projection
two
lights.
of them. Yeah, I got two of them. I have no idea what it's going to look like.
It actually looks pretty cool.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've gotten that lazy. No more. The lights. The kids. College kids, I had the same kids for about 7 years. College of the Canyon. They started in high school. College of the Canyon. It was like $350. You did it yourself?
I do it myself. I may be retired after this year, getting up on that ladder.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do the ladder. What about you, Charlene?
How are you going to not get on a ladder but hike a hill?
That's a question that we'll
We
leave
gotta
for
think
next
about
week.
that.
Cover that next week.
We'll cover that next week. Isn't that amazing? He's climbing Mount Whitney. I mean, to me,
Yeah.
he's like my hero. How do you do? Next week we got to I got to ask better questions. We got to drill into it. as to how you did that. All right, next week, Frankie and I will be back, maybe Charlene, on the show we call The Business Life on award-winning KHTS Radio.
When I'm gone.